Vale, déjame comprobar, chiques, que estoy bien. 3 de 4. Connected. Vale. A ver, YouTube, yo mismo. Sale en directo, vale. Bob. ¿Qué más? Twitch. No. Twitch. Vaya. Twitch cualquiera no, joder. Es mío. Ahí. Hostia, vaya. Me da hace un minuto. Oh. ¿Está en directo esto? Directo, vale, sí. ¿Y qué más? ¿Y the lift? The left. Vale. Está ahí. ¿Qué más? Y Facebook. Creo que sí, porque me llegó el aviso. Aquí. Se limpió el chat. Vale. Bueno, pues voy a decir que sí. Vamos a pensar que sí está bien. Venga, Vampyr. Bueno, a continuar y Vampyr. No me acuerdo dónde dejé el otro día. Lo veremos. Dominguín. Uf. Fuckers. Break the motherfucking fuckers. Dios mío. Vampyr. Venga, hala. Gabinete en la sombra. Vale. Gabinete en la sombra. Continue. Muchos clics, Muchos clics hay que hacer ahí, chaval. Un poco el cansino. Ya. Wow. Lo tengo. Puta. Buenas, Walter, ¿qué tal, tío? Perra. Vamos, hija puta. Dame tu vida. Estoy un poco desubicado, tío, porque estoy jugando con el ratón que puse el viernes por la noche para jugar al Left. Y ahora mismo lo acabo de coger y no había jugado este juego con este ratón. Y estoy bastante Desubicado. Es la palabra. A ver, ¿dónde cojones estoy? ¡Ajá! Pero bueno. Hijo puta. Bueno, ¿verdad? A ver, déjame poner un poco de... Así. A ver si qué tal me va, no sé yo. Esto está cerrado. ¿Es por aquí? ¡Sa! Vale.
The Ascalon Club.
The Ascalon Club.
The heart of British vampire society. Not quite as subtle as I expected.
Venga, mira. Hay gente más formal. Adiós, mira. Oh my god. Tiene el Calhoun.
It's locked. It's locked, all right.
Bueno, pues toca hablar con estos putos de aquí, a ver. Voy a empezar por el de la tienda.
Good evening, sir. Please forgive me for disturbing you. I'm a doctor.
I never judge a man by his title, but by his attitude. And you are not disturbing me at all. I am Calhoun Russell.
Calhoun.
And I welcome you.
Well, I must admit it's good to receive a warm welcome for once. I'm I'm Jonathan Reed.
Welcome, Dr. Reed. Welcome to my humble shop.
Humble Bundle Shop.
How is the situation in this part of town?
Life is good and peaceful. We're lucky to live in such an era of progress and wonders.
Are you not concerned about the epidemic?
Oh, I'm sure the authorities would take the appropriate measure if the danger were that high.
You cannot expect the newspapers to expose the truth while the war is still raging. I can assure you that the situation here is desperate.
Well, that's news then. But I can't believe that things are that bad. Are you sure you're not exaggerating a bit? For the thrill of it?
What can you tell me about this place?
I recently found the best steak and kidney pie in the city. I'd be glad to share it with you if you want.
Pastel de riñones, tío.
I must confess, I have quite specific tastes when it comes to nutrition.
Really? Well, I'm always happy to try new exotic meals. If you ever find an intriguing table, please share the address.
Finding a good restaurant? Is that really all that interests you?
Oh, I have many passions, but nothing brings me ecstasy like subtle and exquisite flavors from my teeth to my belly.
Belly of the beast.
Is it not a little too late to be trading?
On the contrary, it is the perfect hour. Believe me, my friend, it is always at night that you meet the most fascinating characters.
But what about the epidemic? The bombs and raids? and all the random violence.
Please, sir. This is London, England. We will prevail. And if a bomb must fall on my shop, then I'll be there to hear it falling.
So you prefer to work at night?
Oh, I also enjoy a sunny day like everybody else. But the night always has a certain je ne sais quoi of its own.
Do you have any family nearby?
Not since my parents died. I'm London's lone gourmet.
London's lone gourmet. What a strange title.
I used that name in my early years when I was a food critic, and I kept it.
Really? But you seem to be such a pleasant and sociable fellow.
I'm afraid the real hedonist has to be sometimes. I discovered ecstasy as a solitary pleasure, but it does not mean it can't ever be shared.
Muy bien.
I may...
A ver qué precios tiene este cabrón. Vale. Puede estar bien.
Women's right to vote is only the first step.
Remember, don't let
Women
any
die too
strangers
in
come
this
into
war.
your house.
Support the equality between men and women.
Remember, don't let
Women's
any
right to vote
strangers
is
come
only
into
the
your house.
first step.
Have you noticed anything suspicious recently?
Countries unite.
Remember, don't let
Women
any
die too
strangers
in this
come into
war.
your house.
Good evening, miss.
Oh my god, no. Please, Mr. Vampire, don't kill me. Please, no. I'm too young to die. I still have so much to offer this world.
Wait, no. Why do you think I would... What?
Don't worry, Dr. Reed. I know you wouldn't harm me. Mother told me you were in this part of town and might drop by.
Your mother?
My name is Charlotte, sir. Charlotte Ashbury. My mother taught me long ago how to recognize the signs that betray a vampire.
I understand she also taught you how to tease and gently mock innocent young Ekons. It's a pleasure to meet you, Miss Charlotte. What do you think
Ashbury.
about this part of town?
I was raised here and I
Pero ¿cómo va a ser Lady
back
Ashbury?
home. You grew up in this part of town too, did you not?
Yes, I was born a few streets away.
A small world, is it not? Did you ever imagine that my mother was your neighbor all that time? That you could have met her in a dark alley at night?
You won't trick me twice, young lady. We both know Lady Ashbury never hunts or attacks prey at random.
Come on, Doctor. Don't tell me you never thought about that possibility. Her fangs on your neck. Oh, are you blushing, Dr. Reed?
Is there something that's bothering you?
Too much selfishness and individualism for my taste. Even when there was no epidemic.
Even if that's partly true, may I remind you that many charitable institutions are financed by the selfish and filthy rich.
I suppose you're right. But society must reform and renew itself, or we are all done for.
Downfall.
What are you doing out here?
You mean, what do I do outside at night since I am a woman? Let me ask you a question, sir. Would you ask the same question of a man?
Actually, yes. I ask the
Ay,
same
ay,
question
Jonathan.
to everyone who dares to go outside at night, considering the risks.
Well, if you must know, I campaign for the right to vote for all women. Why should I wait to the age of 30 years when men can vote at 21?
Mi madre. A los 30.
Are you a suffragette, then? Oh, you really are Elizabeth's girl. Without a doubt.
All adult women have the right to vote in the US, in New Zealand, and in Australia. But women here can't vote unless they are property owners.
No need to convince me, Miss Charlotte. I have shared your opinion for a long time. Even before I met Emmeline Pankhurst.
Really? Oh, now I see why my mother appreciates you so much. Too bad there aren't more men like you in the vicinity.
How are the locals reacting to your claims?
People here can't wait for a wall to be built to isolate the West End from the rest of town. That's how progressive they are. If this happens, Emily and I will blow it up.
Explosives are very dangerous, young lady. And who is this Emily?
She is my best friend, and a suffragette too. She was supposed to campaign with me tonight, but hasn't turned up.
Uy, se la
Have you
comió un
any
vampiro.
reason to be worried about her?
Recently, Emily started to believe in...
¿Ves?
Well, she got interested in vampires.
Vampires.
She might be in trouble.
Let me guess. You spoke to her about us, didn't you? Despite your mother's warning. I think I should try to find your friend.
Oh, that would be top-notch. I can tell you where she might have gone. You have my thanks, Dr. Reed. And please,
Ay,
don't
ay,
tell
ay.
your mother.
Tell me about your adoption.
Ah,
What do you
adoptada.
want to know?
Who are your real parents?
Elizabeth Ashbury is my real mother. She raised me and has taken care of me all my life. I have no idea who my progenitors are or were.
Do you live with her?
I still spend a lot of time in my mother's mansion, but I have my own house now. I have a life to live, you see. And one day, I'll have my death to face.
How did you meet Lady Ashbury?
First, I was an orphan in the institution for girls she manages in the West End.
Girl.
When I was 10, she adopted me, and I have lived with her ever since.
Did you know she was a vampire when she picked you?
The correct word is Econ, Doctor. And no, I had no idea why my mother only showed up at night. She told me everything when I turned 16, though I suspected the truth for a long time before that.
Qué lista es.
What exactly
Madre mía,
has your
qué
mother
inteligencia.
told you about me?
Your name and profession, obviously, and the mystery about your maker. I'm sorry to hear about what happened to your sister, sir. Mother says it was not your fault.
Does it not scare you to know what I am? What your mother is?
Why should it? My mother is the most compassionate woman. Must I be wary of her, Dr. Reed? Or you?
Perhaps it's wise for a mortal never to totally trust a vampire. Your mother herself told me that we Econ are creatures of deception. Maybe it's because we seem so alive.
That may be true for a naive girl, but I have the best teacher when it comes to getting rid of an insistent immortal.
Your mother is not like any other vampire I've met.
I believe she thinks the same about you.
Uy, que se
Dr.
enamoran.
Reed.
Amor vampírico. No empecemos,
Do you know why Lady Ashbury chose you to become her daughter?
No, I don't. Each time I ask her that question, she smiles and says it's precisely because I dare to ask such questions.
Do you ever regret that she chose you?
Of course not. Though I often wonder if she adopted others before me. If so, where are they buried? How was it for them to pass through life with a never-aging mother?
Está, ¿no?
Goodbye, Charlotte. Give my best regards to your mother when you...
Best
She's
regards.
been quite busy these last few nights. I suspect you may see her before me.
Vale. Tengo la oreja corresponde. Ay, mira qué bien. El parque este. A ver el mapa. ¡Oy, oy, oy! No me gusta esto. West End. ¿Eh? Hay diálogos, pero son tan irrelevantes las veces que fue por ellos, tío, que voy a pasar de ir. Ni te dan experiencia por ir, ni nada. Aunque bueno, basta que no lo salte para que estos no sean irrelevantes. No son de los
It's
huevos.
locked, all right.
¿Dónde va este hombre? Alcantarillas del dique. Buenas, Nails. Jesús. Hachis. ¿Qué tal? Aquí es. Claro. De los bichos raros estos. Ni idea, no.
I cannot enter.
Aquí fondo me pega con ese, ¿no? Sí, esto estaba cerrado. Cierto es. Cierto es. Pues bien. Aquí pasando el domingo con alegría. Dando un poco al vampirismo. Sin mucha pretensión. Pero bueno, de vacaciones, así que nada, bien. Tarde de vampiros y luego tarde de noche de zombies. Ayer no jugué. Así que tocará noche de zombies. Heavy Metal Madness. Ay. 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 Ah. Qué buena investigación. Señora.
Good evening, miss. Can I help you? I'm a doctor. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
I am Karina Billow.
Below.
I don't need any doctor. The rats. Where are the rats?
Miss, you don't seem well at all. Are you afraid of rats? Has one bitten you?
Las ratas no le molan.
It's me who bites them. Tasty.
Se alimenta de ratas. Qué ricas.
Disgusting rats. I can't stop eating them. Help me, please. help me to disobey the voice.
Comer ratas. ¿Te parece una mujer maravillosa, comedora de ratas?
What happened to you?
The rats. The answer hides in their little crunchy bones, their juicy, tiny brains.
Miss Billow, please, try to concentrate. Why do you worry about rats so much?
The voice in my head. He forces me to do so. Drink their blood, he said. Eat their flesh.
Menuda cochina. ¡Cochina! Tiene una esquizofrenia,
Do you
vamos.
feel compelled to obey that voice, Miss Billow, even if you're loath to submit to it?
Yes. Please. Help.
No te puedo ayudar, excepto que te suicidemos. Un momentico, que voy a por agua. Ay. Ay. Vale.
Tell me about the voice in your head.
Voices.
Who is
Keep your mouth shut, he said. Don't ever speak about me, or I'll abandon you. Help me, please, Doctor.
Voy a ver ya que tiene esta señora.
What is the local news hereabouts, Miss Billow?
Shadows. Shadows hunting shadows. Whispers in the dark. Pestilence. Suffering. Death.
Tell me about
Wow.
yourself, Miss Billow. What do you do for a living?
Oh, I'm hungry. Need to eat. Have you got something for me? Blood, perhaps? Can you give me blood, Dr. Reed?
Don't you remember who you are, miss? What you did for work?
I was strong, proud. I campaigned for good causes. But that was before. Before. It does not matter anymore. I'm so hungry.
Nada.
I must go now.
I must go. Una casa ahí. ¿Dónde cojones estoy? Ah, es que esto conecta, parece. Está abierto. Vale, con el muelle. Bien.
Hello? Is anyone there?
Jonathan, is that you?
Venus,
I did not know you were back in London. Oh, my dear Johnny, I'm so sorry for your loss. Mary was such a sweetheart.
Thank you, Venus. May I come in?
I was going to bed, actually.
Nivel 4, vale.
Forgive me. With the epidemic, I tend to forget people are supposed to sleep at night.
I'll tell you what. Come back tomorrow for tea. I'll be glad to see you then.
Creo que no. Pero luego ves, esas chicas tampoco tiene mucho sentido solo el nivel, porque avanza solo cuando avanza la historia, entonces no puedes desarrollar tu
Good evening,
personaje.
sir. May I have your attention, please?
Come on, Johnny. Don't you recognize your oldest friend?
Clarence. Clarence Crossley. How are you? My God. So you survived the war too. So sorry I didn't recognize you at first.
I almost didn't recognize you either. War does that to men, I heard. In my case, it was true, for I witnessed the horror that lies underneath.
When did you escape the war and return to London?
You know what's funny? I almost never think about the war. Not anymore. I'm involved in another kind of battle now.
What is this new battle?
I saw terrible things during the war. Horrors I thought I'd forget. They're here too. They're everywhere.
Vampires.
Vampires.
I know what you mean. I haven't had much time to think about the war either since my return.
Of course. With the epidemic, I bet you've been busy as well. Forgive me, Johnny. I didn't want to sound selfish.
How is your wife, Venus?
We've spent so much time away from each other. And so many things have happened.
But you're alive. You returned in one piece and you have a family. How many soldiers can say the same?
Believe me, it's not quite that simple. Unlike you, I'm not the man I used to be.
Is everything all right at home? Surely Venus was relieved to see you return from France in one piece.
Have you forgot what people are like in this part of town, Johnny? Venus fears for our family reputation. Now her husband has become the village idiot.
Puta.
You need some rest, Clarence. You should try to sleep.
Vale. En el mismo sitio, joder. No era ahí donde quería ir.
They're all around you, waiting for you to let your guard down.
Está como una chota. Pero bueno. ¿Este qué hace ahí?
We meet again, Mr. Kimura. In a more
El chino.
peaceful situation.
Dr. Reed. Still visiting London by night?
We must both be nocturnal animals.
No,
you and
pues de
I.
chino, vamos.
After your captivity, I thought you'd be more cautious.
Breathing the cold night air helps calm my mind, sir. I've had the most frightening nightmares since I escaped that filthy jail.
What can you tell me about your abduction?
If you really want to know, I was locked in that building for 3 or 4 days. My jailer was insane, mumbling about sacrifice and voices.
And why didn't he sacrifice you?
That was the weirdest part. He claimed to spill blood was not enough. It had to be done when some stars were aligned.
Which stars?
That's the whole point. He wanted me to talk to him about some Red Queen configuration or constellation. I've never heard of such an astronomical term.
What did he say?
He constantly whined about the voice of his ma.
How is the situation in the West?
I've heard rumors about armed men patrolling and fighting infected citizens in these very streets. I was lucky they didn't shoot me when I was abducted.
May I ask you what you do for a living, Mr. Kimura?
I was a landlord. A wealthy one. And a
Terrateniente.
very kind one, I realized recently.
Why this sudden epiphany? Is it because of your near-death experience?
I was already feeling nostalgic about Weymouth, my hometown. With recent events, I'm thinking about going back there.
Tell me, Tadao, why was your abductor so interested in your passion for astronomy?
I dunno. We met a few times at the Royal Greenwich Observatory. He seemed to share my hobby. Then he invited me to his house and locked me in.
Yes, astronomy is a fascinating subject. When I was a child, my mother bought a small telescope for my sister and I.
Stars are not just dots in the sky, Doctor. They are the key to our understanding.
You're right. But children love magic and stories. I remember our mother told us constellations have the power to protect us.
Protection by the light of the stars. That's sweet. You remember the name of these constellations?
Pegasus.
Pegasus.
It was the
Pegasus.
constellation my mother liked the most.
Memory's a strange thing. I can recite without hesitation the names of the 88 constellations. Yet I barely remember my own childhood.
Did he fake his interest in astronomy to get close to you?
No. In his madness, he spoke about a blood sacrifice to be made to his master when the stars aligned to a specific configuration.
Why are you so nostalgic for your hometown, Tadao?
I was focused so much on making money, I almost forgot that my relatives and friends are threatened by this epidemic.
Have you heard anything from your family?
I was not only a bad landlord, I was also a bad husband. I've not seen my wife and son for years. Busy, busy, busy.
At least now you're ready to go back and see them. But don't be surprised if your son bears a grudge, sir.
You make it sound like you suffered from an absent father yourself, Dr. Reed. Well, I'll keep your warning in mind.
Have you no friends at all?
Over the years, I'm afraid my greed turned me into my friend's adversary, while I became friends with my professional rivals.
Those you grew up with didn't...
Would you believe I was once a member of poetry circles and an astronomy club? Oui.
Cállate ya, hombre.
Can you change? And is it what you really want? If so, it must come from within, not without.
I've seen what an altruistic gesture can do. Nothing forced you to save me, Dr. Reed, but you did. I will follow your example in these matters from now on.
Muy bien.
Follow my example, then. Find a complete stranger and help him or her the best you can. Then invite him or her to do the same.
You know what? That's not a bad plan, actually. And I should start with my family, for they are almost strangers to me now.
¡Mierda! Me cago en San Dios.
Goodbye, Mr. Kimura. Take care.
I almost forgot what it feels
Perdí una pista, joder.
to live an ordinary life.
Por hablar de más. Oh, no sé muy bien por qué, porque no me queda nada claro. Vale. Abrimos una puerta. Mira, ya que estoy aquí voy a hablar con la señora esta. No sé cómo tengo los barrios yo ahora. Pierde un distrito ese. Creo que no tengo ninguno en crítico. Bueno, ni en crítico ni en fatal. Lo debería. Ay. Vamos a ver. Ah, sano. También estable. Está saneado. Saneado y todo, Cojonudo. Bueno, no me importa mucho porque como no me lo voy a comer.
It's locked, all right. It's
Drácula.
locked.
Está pintando a mí. A ver qué hizo la bruja esta. El placer.
Sorry to disturb you again, but could you
Aquí eres
spare
una
me a
vaca.
few minutes?
Of course, my dear. Always a pleasure to speak with you.
Concerning your investigation,
Yes?
are you truly seeking to identify my maker?
I cannot promise you anything, but yes. I am conducting some research of my own.
Do you know if the epidemic has affected many people in the West End?
I confess I've been more concerned by events in the East End. The wealthy have...
But this is no common epidemic.
That is true. I must tell my daughter to stay at home for a few days. But the girl is stubborn and fiercely independent. Much like her mother.
Do you think we shall ever see better days? Or at least better nights?
I know not, Jonathan. I have seen some horrid days in my long lifetime. Experience has taught me that one cannot outrun the fates.
When all of this is over, the war and the epidemic, we could leave the city for a while. Travel around Europe, you and I.
Traveling is always so complicated for us poor creatures of the night. But yes, I would be glad to travel the world with
¿Qué
you.
dijo Yes, chaval? ¿Qué dijo
Will you
Yes al
tell me
hachazo?
your story one day, Lady Asprey?
One of them, perhaps. I have had so many lives, Jonathan. Eternity may not be enough to relate them all.
Goodbye, Elizabeth.
Bueno, anda.
Yes, Jonathan?
Nada.
Goodbye, Elizabeth.
Afuera. Joder, qué coñazo de pantallas de carga, tío. Voy a buscar a ver si es que está... Loading screens. Vampyr. Infinite loading screen. Loading screens. Infinite. Uf. A ver, Reddit. Really frustrating. Frustrating. A ver. Y hay aquí un truquero, a ver si funciona. Propiedades, no. Detalles. Afinidad. Tal. A ver si funciona. Ya como funcione, la polla, Vamos a probar. No parece que funcione. No parece que funcione. Ay. Establecer la civilidad con los núcleos 03, no. No. Tiene que ser un bug, porque sí, tiene que ser un bug, porque está en un SSD. Yo lo tengo en un SSD. Así que no me toquen los cojones, tío. Malones. Vale.
Good
Mira,
evening,
este que
old chap.
está
Are you all right?
I won't
Loquito.
lie to you, Johnny. I'm not a well man.
Sí, ya me lo dijiste, pesado. Estás malo.
Tell me what you have discovered about vampires, Clarence.
They've always been here. And if you search for long enough, you realize others know about these devils too. I'm not alone.
Have you shared your research with anybody else?
No. But I've published my leaflets all across the city, hoping that someday someone will realize I'm printing the truth.
What do you mean you're not alone? Who have you met?
The Guard of Prewin, the Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole, Ichabod Throgmorton. Those names always pop up when you dig deep enough.
Have you spoken with any of them?
No. With the quarantine, it's almost impossible to leave the West End. But as a doctor, maybe you could, Johnny.
Are you asking me to help you prove the existence of vampires, Clarence?
Yes, Johnny.
Johnny.
Please, gather all the information you can find about vampires and bring it to me. You're the only friend I have left. I need you.
Clarence, Why have you distributed leaflets about vampires all across the West End?
I have to warn everybody about them. They've killed thousands of people already, unnoticed thanks to the epidemic. We are all in danger here.
Vampires in London? Come on, Clarence. Who's going to believe that?
I'm not mad, Jonathan. You have to believe me. I know they are real. They're all around us, even as we speak.
Clarence, you've always been a reliable and a good friend to me.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you for your trust. You don't...
It's all right. But if you want...
The first time it was in Rouen. I saw an officer drink the blood.
Do you need medical assistance, Clarence?
It's a little late for visiting hours, don't you think?
What can I say? I haven't lost my old habits.
I hope we're talking about the same habits, old friend.
You need some rest, Clarence. You should try to sleep.
Vale.
Women die too in this war.
It's always been your house there.
Women.
Good evening, Miss Ashbury. Why do you still hope to become a vampire?
It's the immortal aspect of vampires that interests me. The world won't improve unless women take charge. I'm convinced of that.
You're obviously a clever woman with a good education and a brilliant future. But have you thought about the price you'd have to pay? The loneliness, the necessary masquerade.
Is it not true of every high position? To change this world and make it a better place, one needs time on one side.
Your mother has refused to turn you into a vampire. Tell me more about it.
Each time we argue, Mother expresses the same fear. She wants me to remain alive and full of joy, rather than become melancholy and immortal. She claims you can't have one without the other. It's pure selfishness.
Your mother has walked this earth for much longer than you or I. She is wise, and we should not ignore her advice when we disagree with it.
But why shouldn't I be allowed to forge my own experience? There can't be only one righteous way to deal with eternity.
It's your mother's choice. As daughters and sons, we have to accept the decisions our parents make for us despite our own wishes.
I love my mother, and have accepted everything from her. Even that she named me Charlotte, when it was not my original name.
Does it bother you?
No. Whoever I was when I was born, I am now Charlotte Ashbury. It hurts as much as it makes me proud to know that's the name my mother will read on my tombstone.
Tell me, Charlotte, how do you plan to achieve eternal life, since you've obviously given it a lot of thought?
I won't give up. You have no idea how determined I am, sir. I may contract a deadly disease. I may throw myself under a carriage just to be saved by her sweet kiss.
That's a disturbing answer, young lady. And the worst part of it is, I know you speak the truth.
There are less dangerous ways, Doctor. Instead of throwing myself under a horse like Emily Davison, I could just throw myself into your arms.
Never. That would be betraying your mother's trust. She would never forgive us.
For sure. But look on the bright side. We would have eternity to reconcile.
Or an eternity to run away from your mother's mighty wrath. Quite a terrifying idea, don't you think?
Yes. I think it's wiser to let go of that part of the plan.
Goodbye, Charlotte.
She's been
Un
quite
poco tonta.
busy these last few nights. I suspect you may see her before me.
Don't let any strangers come into your house.
Good evening, Miss T.
Dr. Reed. Oh,
Please don't mention.
Good.
Do you need my medical attention, miss?
I don't need your help.
Tiene la cara cortada.
I have no doubt about it, but I'm offering you my help anyway.
All right then. But please leave me alone for now.
Louise, tell me what you really think about your father's sacrifice to save you.
I'm proud he went after me. I forgive him all his harsh words, all his bloody attitudes. I only wish I could tell him how much I loved him.
Yes. It can be traumatic, not having the chance to say goodbye to those we love.
Yes, Doctor. And there's no treatment for that type of pain, isn't that right? That may be the last thing my father taught me.
You seem to cherish your father a great deal.
Dad was the...
I'm sorry you didn't have the opportunity.
That's all right.
Louise, what can you tell me, really? Did you
Well, immortality. Not a common wedding gift, is it? I think he just wanted to have his way with me. Can vampires even fuck, Doctor?
What? Well, I really can't answer that. Well, since they are creatures of blood, physically speaking, I suppose an erection is possible, but
Don't be embarrassed, Dr. Reed. I was just asking.
What do you do for a living, Miss Teasdale?
Before my kidnapping, I was a waitress in a pub. Now I'm unemployed.
Were you fired?
No. It's just that after my recent experience, I don't feel like I can go back to my normal life. I need to do something useful.
Ah, esta fue vale. Pensaba que era la loca de antes comía arroz,
You
pero
were
no.
lucky to escape death once.
Esta es una que rescatamos el otro día, es
You
verdad.
killed my kidnapper by yourself, didn't you?
Es verdad, es verdad.
No offense, Doctor, but you're just a doctor. I don't see why I couldn't do the same.
What do you intend to do?
Dad always told me, Louise, if you want something, don't stop until you have it. I did my research and I found it. Ichabod Throgmorton, professional vampire hunter. I'll be his apprentice.
Muy bien.
What can you tell me about this area?
I've never really liked this part of town. It was where my father wanted to live. I won't remain here much longer.
What exactly don't you like about it?
People here are contemptuous and...
Vale, vale.
Goodbye.
Vale, muy bien.
Let any strangers come into your house. Have you...
Hay bastantes, nos faltan 5, 6, 7 personas.
You noticed anything suspicious recently?
Good evening, old chap. Are you all right?
I won't lie to you, Johnny. I'm not a well man.
You need some rest, Clarence. You should try to sleep.
Ah, es Clarence. Wow. Wow. Voy a intentar buscar el... Again. Puta. ¿Qué cojones estará, tío? Lo puedo tener en cualquier lado. Peluda. Rosa. Dan hostias, Estoy intentando demasiadas hostias. Puto. Libro ahí. Vale. Joder. ¡Pumba! De ahí abajo. De ahí abajo no creo que esté. Porque se sale del parque. Hostia, no lo tumba, tío. ¡Oh, puta! Echar otra. Vaya tongo, chaval. Vaya boogie. Boogie style. Vale. ¡Ay! Pues, teóricamente podría estar ahí abajo. Podría. Pero está un poco... Da un poco espacio, que no creo. No sé hacia dónde va. White Chapel. Iglesia del Temple. Hija de puta es, ¿no? Aquí en esta calle sí que estamos completamente dentro del área en cuestión. No se entera, pero sí se entera. A ver, opa ahí, vale. Cuarentena. Hijos de puta. Cabronio. Vale. ¿Y aquí qué? Amigos, aquí no hay nada. Vale. Me cago en la puta, Vale.
I can't believe I'm doing this. Maybe there's a way to break into this house.
Maybe.
There has been a fight here. I can see a blood trail. Left by one of the antagonists, perhaps?
Maybe. Oye, ni tan mal. ¿Qué haces ahí, Lilina? Vamos a ver. Ergotamina. No, esto sí, tengo 4, 5. Casi siempre estoy en 5. Perfecto. Ay, espérate, déjame si puedo mejorar algún arma. Sobre todo la que uso. Empuñadura eficaz, no hace falta, ¿eh? Sí que empuñadura eficaz, ¿eh? Ratones.
This is despicable.
Stupid newborn! You're bleeding!
¡Oh, puta! putuca. Está atascado ahí. Bueno, vaya diferente que está siendo esta pelea con el mongolo. Este tío. Respecto al otro día. Joder, con la puta sombra esa. Puta madre. Pues no, tampoco está aquí, tío. Ah, ja, 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 ja.
I had almost forgotten I applied for a position at Pembroke. It was so long ago.
La tercera, hostia, la tercera. Espérate. La tercera. ¿En qué hospital cursé mi primera interinidad? Hostia, no me acuerdo. Si es que alguno lo supo. ¿Era en el hospital este? No. Vale. Bueno, en cualquier caso lo voy a dejar aquí. Pero te llevo una hora y suficiente. Luego más.